time in independent study. Good luck to the 10 teams. Now I would like to turn it over to Larry Driver, the ACE Program Coordinator.
Good morning to everyone here in the audience and in the radio. I want to thank Principal Purifoy for joining us today and providing those welcoming remarks, and also allowing us to use this beautiful facility just been built at Farmington High School at their Performing Arts Center. The continuation of ACE competition is dependent on administrators like Principal Purifoy and all the other administrators and superintendents who permit us all to participate in ACE in this unique academic opportunity here in Northwest Arkansas. We also want to thank Kerm Radio, which is FM 100.3, broadcasting out of Gravette, Arkansas, for giving the games a wider audience for those in the community who are interested. For those listening at home, today is the championship finals. There are 3 matches in a row. It'll take about 3 hours of radio time and everyone's time here in the audience. The first match is a semifinal. We have 3 teams. The winning team of that competition will advance to the finals. And there's a second semifinal game. The winning team of that game will proceed to the finals. And the final game, championship, will have Bentonville, who got a bye because they had the highest score during the season, against the winner of Game 1 and Game 2. We also want to thank the Arkansas Democrat Gazette, because we use that newspaper for our current event questions in sports and news. We are now, because it's the end of the season, each team has played 3 games, and the average score was taken, and we advanced to the final 7 teams. Good luck to all of you. In the semifinal game right now, we have 3 teams playing. I'm going to have them introduce themselves. At my far left, sitting at the blue table, would you introduce yourself?
Yes. Good morning. We are Gravette High School, and from my right to left, we have Abby Cruson, Alex Cruson, myself, Ashton Yarbrough, Shelby Helser, and Billy Cook. Today we have brought with us our coaches, Allison Schaefer and Megan Bassing.
In the center of the stage, sitting at the yellow table, it's your turn.
Hello, we are Farmington High School, and from the audience's right to left, we have Eli Wallace, myself, Savannah Cookson, Kayla DeMay, Rachel Cook, Chloe Lockridge, and our sponsors, Mr. Williams and Mr. Mason.
And on my far right, at the edge of the stage, Shiloh Christian.
Good morning, we're Shiloh Christian, and from my left to right, we have Colton Eldridge, Chuck Farmer, I am Luke Merrick, Brinkley Accord, and Sierra Bychak. And our advisor is the wonderful Brandt, Raisin Brandt Breeding.
My name is Larry Driver. I'm the director for ACE. In addition to me being here on this podium, I've got some help. David Young's going to be an extra help with judge and reading questions. Kathy Simmons will be the official scorekeeper. The host coaches from Farmington, Clayton Williams and Michael Mason, thank you for letting us use this fine facility. All right, we're going to start the competition here in a moment. There might be some people in the audience, the radio audience, that might not know the game of ACE. So let me give a little preview. There are 2 halves to be played, focusing on 7 different academic subjects in each half. Most of them come from textbooks used at the high school level. In general, the first halves are primary language arts and government history questions. The second half questions are primarily math and science, but there's some variation. Both halves begin with a current event question. In the first half, it's the news, and in the second half, it is sports. Awarding points for each question ranges from 0 to 4, and each team has their own question and has 15 seconds to try to get the right answer, and the points will be explained as the match is played. Math questions take 60 seconds, so the radio audience, please be patient and with the silence as the students try to calculate the correct answer for the math question and used in the second half. There are more nuances to the game, and I hope both the audience and the radio listeners will figure that out as the game progresses. All right, I'm going to announce the score 3 times during the match. One will be at the halftime, one will be just before we do the toss-up and at the final, the last question of the game, and then there will be a final score. All right, it's time to start semifinal game 1. This is a big deal. For the radio audience, there's a cash award and a trophy going on the line here today. All right, question 1. This happens to come from current event questions from the Arkansas Gazette newspaper from the week of February 8th through February 12th, 2015. Gravette, this is your question to earn points. Who was the sponsor of House Bill 1044, which requires that every Arkansas public elementary school teach cursive writing by the end of 3rd grade?
Kim Hendren.
That is correct. 4 points for Gravette. Farmington, your current event question. Who is the Arkansas Lieutenant Governor who has been asked by Governor Hutchinson to lead a committee that will review Common Core educational standards and to make recommendations on any adjustments to Common Core that might be needed to be made?
Griffin.
That is correct. 4 points. Good start. Shiloh Christian, your current event question. The Arkansas Senate approved legislation that would prevent cities and counties from passing anti-discrimination laws. Who was the sponsor of Senate Bill 202, which he said was to make sure cities, counties, and other political subdivisions are not making their own civil rights ordinances?
Hester.
Hester is correct. 4 points. A great job on the current event questions. Everyone earned 4 points. Category 2 is world geography and culture. Gravette, your question. Mountain trails comprise the main travel and trade routes still today in which South Asian country?
Nepal.
Yes, 4 points. Farmington, your world geography question. Shipbuilding is the primary industry of which Bangladesh city? Fifteen seconds has passed, so we now have a chance for a steal from Gravette.
Chittagong.
Chittagong is correct. 1 point steal, Gravette. And Shiloh Christian, your world geography question. What is the name of the form of devotional singing that is popular in Pakistan?
Mantras.
No.
Ramayana.
No.
Mahabharata.
No. All right, time has elapsed for the steal, Gravette.
Kuali. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Can you spell it?
Qawwwias.
You were very close. It's such an odd word. I'm going to give you credit. It ended with A-L-I, Kawali. That would be 1 point steal, Gravette. Third question of the match comes from your American history textbook. Gravette, your question is, in 1993, the first popular web browser was released. What was its name?
Internet Explorer.
No, and you need to speak with your big voice.
Google.
No. 15 seconds elapsed for the steal. Shiloh Christian?
Firefox.
No. Farmington, you want to enter in? Go ahead.
ARPANET?
No. The answer is mosaic. No points for that question. First time in the match. We're now ready for Farmington's American history question. What was the name of the New York City incident in 1969, which marked the beginning of the gay activist movement?
The Stonewall Riot?
That is correct. 4 points. Shiloh Christian, your American history question. Who was the author of the 1962 book titled The Other America, which examined the nation's impoverished areas, claiming that the poor remained largely hidden in city slums, also in our Appalachia and the Deep South, and in Native American reservations?
Rees?
No.
Benjamin Elliott?
No. Farmington for the steal?
Harrington?
Harrington is correct. Steal made by Harrington, 1 point. Fourth category is literature. For those of the radio audience, 20 short stories were selected for this year that the students read, and the question is taken from those 20 short stories. Gravette, this is your literature question. In the short story, A Clean, Well-Lighted Place by Ernest Hemingway, what reason is suggested through the conversation between the waiters why the old man is in despair and drinks late every night?
Because he is lonely and has the money to do so.
4 points for Gravette. Farmington. In the short story, An Old Man, by Guy de Maupassant, who does Monsieur Daran regard all people as being?
Fools?
No.
Stupid.
No. Shiloh Christian for the steal.
Foolhardy?
No, I'm not sure that mic's working. Gravette.
Ignorant.
No, you guys are on the right track. In the way it was expressed in the short story, he called them puppets. He also called them insignificant and careless. Now, later on in the story, he does not accept anyone as being as bright as him. That's true. All right, no points for that question. Shiloh Christian, your literature question. In the short story, A Little Legend of the Dance by Gottfried Keller, what was the result when the 9 muses sang their hymn of praise to the patriarch, elders, and prophets in paradise?
They were silenced by the Holy Spirit.
No.
They were cast out of heaven.
No. Time for the steal, Farmington.
Everybody became sad.
Yes. They were seized by earthly suffering. 1 point steal, Farmington. The fifth category of the match is American government. Gravette, here's your question. Who was the first non-PRI party, the non-PRI party Mexican president in 70 years who was elected in 2000?
Vasquez?
No.
Hernandez?
No. For the steal, Farmington?
Fox.
Fox is correct. Vincent Fox. 1 point for Farmington. Now, Farmington, this is your American government question that you have a chance to get full points for. Which famous economist claimed that government should not interfere in the free enterprise system?
Marx.
No. 15 seconds has elapsed. Gravette for the steal.
Adam Smith.
That is correct. 1 point steal, Gravette. Shiloh Christian, your American government question. Who was the Chinese leader who, beginning in 1977, radically changed the Chinese economy by allowing privately owned industries and business to exist in China?
Mao Zedong.
No. Time for the steal, Farmington.
Deng Xiaoping.
That is correct. 1 point steal, Farmington. Sixth category of the match is Shakespeare. This year, 4 plays were selected for the students to study. Gravette, here's your question from the play Anthony and Cleopatra. How does Anthony react to the death of his wife, Fluvia?
He doesn't really mourn. He doesn't mourn.
I can't hear you.
He doesn't mourn her.
No,
He's saddened by it.
no,
Angry.
no. For the steal, Shiloh Christian.
He feels bad that he once wished her dead and wishes her back.
That is a full answer for the steal. Good job. 1 point steal, Shiloh Christian. Farmington, Shakespeare. The play is Two Gentlemen of Verona. How does the Duke discover Valentine's plans to elope with Sylvia?
He pretends to be courting a lady and removes his coat and finds a ladder in there.
That's a good answer for 4 points for Farmington. Shiloh Christian, your play is Troilus and Cressida. What is Cressida's father's great crime?
He betrayed the Trojans and went to the Greek side.
I would like you to speak plainly and say it again.
He betrayed the Trojans and went to the Greek side.
Yes, 4 points for Shiloh. The answer I have here is he defected to the Greeks, and that you had that at the end of your answer. All right, we're now ready for vocabulary. The list of words were taken from a college preparatory manual, and students, I will give you a part of speech and a very short definition, and you're to tell me the word that was on that list. Gravette, here's your vocabulary question. Name the adjective that means mutually destructive.
Internecine.
Yes, 4 points for Gravette. Farmington, your vocabulary question. Name the verb that means measure, distribute.
Marshall.
No. Time has elapsed for the steal, Shiloh Christian.
Levy.
No. Gravette.
Meaty. M-E-T-E.
That is correct. 1 point steal, Gravette. And it's just meat. All right, Shiloh Christian, here's your vocabulary question. Name the verb that means lead astray, whittle, or wheedle. Time has elapsed for the steal, Gravette.
Inveigle.
Inveigle is correct. 1 point steal, Gravette. Gravette, you swept that category. Good job. We're now at the end, near the end of the first half. Each team selected a category from the questions we've already given to take an extra question. Gravette, if I wrote the information correctly, you chose literature. Farmington, you chose Shakespeare, and Shiloh Christian, you chose geography. So we'll start with Gravette, your literature question. In the short story, The Third Bank of the River, by Joao Jimenez Rosa, at the conclusion of the story, the son experiences a deadly fear and asks himself, am I a man after such a failure? What failure did the son share with his father?
He said that he would take his father's place in the river.
Not the answer to this question. Oh, I want to remind the audience that each team only gets one chance at this answer. Okay, so Farmington for the steal.
He ran from his father.
Ran is the key word?
Ran.
Ran? No. Shiloh Christian. Quickly.
He couldn't take his place in the river, so he decided to be buried there later after he died.
Well, that's similar to what Gravette said. So no. The answer is he abandoned his family. That was the original reason the father left, right? And then the son, saying he'd take his place, was going to abandon his family. That was the correct answer. All right. No points for that that team choice. Farmington, you chose Shakespeare. Comes from the play Troilus and Cressida. What event spurs Achilles into battle?
The death of Patroclus.
That is correct. 4 points for Farmington. Shiloh Christian, you chose geography. The Ganges River flows into what body of water?
Indian Ocean.
No. That was your one shot. Farmington.
The Brahmaputra.
That's not what I have here. Gravette.
The Bay of Bengal.
That is correct. 2 point steal for Gravette. All right. We're now ready for the final question of the first half. It's a toss-up question. There were 3 categories not claimed by the teams. I chose American government to be the toss-up question. It's worth 4 points only. There's no steal. There's no bounce back. You may buzz in as soon as you believe you have a good answer. Here is the toss-up for everyone. Have your buzzers in hand. Who is the only president to suspend the writ of habeas? Shiloh Christian?
Abraham Lincoln.
That is correct. 4 points for the toss-up. Goes to Shiloh Christian. That is the end of the first half. And our scorekeeper's giving me a total. So currently, we have in third place Shiloh Christian with 13 points. In second place, Farmington with 20. And with a slight lead at this moment, Gravette has 23. We're going to take about a 2-minute break for the radio audience to check in with their advertisers and switch members at the table for the second half. We'll come back in a few minutes. Thank you.
Attention students, have you found a place to live yet? Don't move into high-rise, high-cost student living. Live somewhere comfortable, affordable, on the bus route, and close to everything you need. It's all at Mad Sky Rentals. 95% of apartments are rented in Fayetteville, so Mad Sky's places are going fast. Call today at 251-9403. 1, 2, and 3 bedrooms available. 251-9403 or online at madskyrentals.com.
Looking for free checking that isn't free of extras? It's as easy as finding your nearest Arvest bank. Our free Blue checking comes with lots of features, including free online and mobile banking, and the ability to deposit a check just by taking a picture of it with your smartphone. And since it's from Arvest, you'll have the freedom of more than 240 locations and 7-to-7 banking. You shouldn't have to pay for convenience. Switch to free Blue checking from Arvest Bank.
Chairs. Tony Sacheries. Turn your same old into Creole with Tony Sacheries' famous Creole seasoning. It brings out the flavor of any food. Use it instead of salt and pepper.
Here, Mom. It's Tony Chacharoos.
Tony Sacheries. Whoa! Tony Sacheries' famous Creole seasoning makes everything taste great.
Thank you, Buick.
Thank you.
Thank you, Buick.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Buick, for supporting education in communities all across the country with the Buick Achievers Scholarship Program. Everett Buick GMC is proud to be a part of this great opportunity for our students.
Welcome back to Kerm Radio, and here we are at the ACE competition at the Farmington High School Performing Arts Center. This is the first semi-final match between Gravette, Farmington, and Shiloh Christian. When we left at the end of the first half, the score was Shiloh with 13 points, Farmington with 20, and Gravette with 23. There's been a personnel change here at the stage. We got some new people. So we'd like you to introduce yourselves. Sitting at the blue table.
We are Gravette High School, and from my right to left, we have Alexis Harper, Casey Blanchard, myself, Carson King, James Isabel, and Emily Miller. Our sponsors are Allison Schaefer and Megan Bassing.
In the middle of the stage, sitting at the yellow table, go ahead.
We are Farmington High School, and from my right to left, we have Jeffrey Cutter, Evan Wolfenbarger, Brandon Conrad, Rachel Cook, and myself, Jamie Spillers. And our sponsors are Mr. Williams and Mr. Mason.
On the far right of the stage, go ahead, red table.
Hello, we are Shiloh Christian, and from the audience's left to right, our lineup is Austin Porter, Jake Reindl, myself, Marshall Richards, Kendall Reese, and Emily Matlock. And our sponsor is Mr. Brandt Breeding.
We're ready to start the second half. It has a whole new slate of 7 categories. The first category is current event sports, taken from the Arkansas Democrat Gazette paper the week of February 8th through February 12th. Grab it. Here is your sports current event question. He won 51 PGA tournaments, 2 U.S. Opens, and a Masters, yet he remains one of the sport's least known legends. Who is this golfer who played on 8 consecutive Ryder Cup teams and was inducted into the World Golf Hall of Fame in 1978, who recently died in his home in Utah?
Gasper.
Casper is correct. 4 points. Farmington, your sports question. Who is the 33-year-old female goalie who isn't traveling with the U.S. women's soccer team because of her latest episodes of self-destructive and off-putting behavior, despite the fact she is considered to be one of the best goalies in the world?
Hope Solo.
That is correct. 4 points. Shiloh Christian, sports question. Once called the dirtiest player of the NFL, this former bully of the Miami Dolphins, after a year and a half away from football, has signed on with the Buffalo Bills. Who is this offensive lineman who is, according to the Bills spokesman, is going to continue to take necessary steps to improve himself as a person?
Sanchez?
No.
Lewis?
No. Time has elapsed for the Steel, Farmington.
Incognito.
That is correct. Richie Incognito, Steel, Farmington. The 11th question of the match comes from your chemistry textbook. Gravette. Here you go. Which of the 5 elements that are commonly found in organic compounds has the same electronegativity as carbon?
Oxygen?
No.
Nitrogen?
No. Time has elapsed for the Steel, Shiloh. Quickly.
Hydrogen?
No. Farmington, quickly.
Helium?
No. The answer is sulfur. All right. Farmington, here is your chemistry question. Name one of the elements that are commonly found in organic compounds that has more electronegativity than carbon. You have a couple to choose from. I only need one answer.
Oxygen?
Oxygen works. 4 points for Farmington. Shiloh Christian, your chemistry question. How many distinct locations are there for one double bond in a 5-carbon cyclic chain? No.
12.
No.
8.
No.
2.
No. For the Steel, Farmington.
10.
No. For the Steel, Gravette. 4. The answer is 1. Good try. We're now ready for the 12th question. It comes from art history. Gravette, your question. What was the name of the 64-panel series created by Jacob Lawrence in the 1940s that dealt with the oppression of African Americans? Time has elapsed. Farmington for the Steel.
Migration of the Negro.
That is correct. 1 point, Steel, Farmington. All right. Farmington, this is your art history question. It's a kind of a long prompt, so be patient. In this painting, Isabel Bishop captures the loneliness of the people in the crowded streets of Manhattan. The well-dressed women in this painting look down, not around, as they cut through the congested streets. The light on the women further isolate them from the men in the fringes of the work. What is the name of this oil painting done by Bishop in 1932?
On the Street.
That is correct. 4 points, Farmington. Shiloh Christian, here is your long art history question. This oil painting, created in 1954, illustrates the type of historical subject that Thomas Hart Benton loved to paint. There is a slight distortion of humans, plant life, and nature. However, the strongly lit forms, deep shadows, and simplified designs create a realistic image. What is the name of this painting, which was a gift of Burt Lancaster to the Los Angeles County Museum of Art?
Kentuckian.
That is correct. 4 points for Shiloh Christian. It's now the time in the match where we do mathematics. Each team has an envelope. Before you pull and distribute the strips, let me explain to the audience that there's 60 seconds to answer these questions. We're in this time of the year, we are doing trigonometry. Take out the slips of the blue envelope, pass them around, and I will read the question out loud for the audience. Two buildings are 51 feet apart. The height of the taller building is 207 feet. The angle of depression from the top of the taller building to the top of the shorter building is 15%. What is the height of the shorter building? Give your answers to the nearest foot. Time has elapsed. For the steal, quickly, Farmington.
193.3 feet. 193 feet.
That is correct. 1 point steal from math for Farmington. Farmington, this is your math question, so would you all pull out the yellow envelope, distribute the 5 slips of paper to the team members? Here's the question out loud for the audience. A surveyor is 980 meters from the base of the hill. The angle of elevation to the top of the hill is 29.7 degrees. What is the height of the hill? Give your answer to the nearest meter.
561 meters.
No. Well,
559 feet.
No.
Meters.
No. Yes. I think, just a moment.
559 meters.
All right, that was 3 points for Farmington for their second answer. So it is 2 points because you gave the wrong unit. So it's 2 points for Farmington. Good job. All right, we're ready for the red envelope. Would you distribute the slips? Here is that math question. A person is standing on a lighthouse 250 feet above the ground. He sees a ship and measures the angle of depression to be 18 degrees. How far is the ship from the lighthouse to the nearest foot?
81 feet?
No. Ten seconds.
769 feet.
That is correct. 3 points for the second chance answer. Right at the buzzer. Good job. All right, it's the 14th question of the match. It comes from your biology textbook. Gravette, here's your question. The ability to move limbs, such as arms and legs, in opposite directions requires that muscles be attached to the limb bones in what kind of pairs?
Contracting and relaxing muscles?
No.
Flexors and extenders?
No. Time has elapsed for the Steele Shiloh Christian.
Antagonistic pairs?
Correct. 1 point Steele for Shiloh Christian. Farmington, your biology question. How much does our air temperature decline with every 1,000 meters increase in elevation? Give your answers in a whole Celsius degree.
3 degrees Celsius.
No.
5 degrees Celsius.
No.
2 degrees Celsius.
No. Time has elapsed. Shiloh?
1 degree Celsius.
No. For the Steele, Gravette, quick answer.
10 degrees Celsius.
The answer is 6 degrees Celsius. You were hovering all around there. All right, Shiloh Christian, biology question. In a contaminated pond near the destroyed nuclear plant in Chernobyl, what kind of plants were set adrift on foam rafts to use their absorption ability to pump large amounts of water through their roots to clean up radioactive material?
Algae.
No.
Sponge.
No. We have, for the Steele, Farmington?
Maple.
No. Interesting. Gravette, quickly.
Moss?
No. The answer was they planted sunflowers.
Oh. I thought you said what kind of pine.
All right, we're going to do a physics question now. Gravette. I'm going to read an equation to you now. EMF equals the quantity negative n times the change in the quantity A times B times the cosine of theta, all divided by the change in T. What law does this describe?
The law of conservation of energy.
No.
Back EMF. Potential difference.
No. For the Steele, Farmington.
Ohm's law.
No. Shiloh Christian.
Gibbs free energy.
The answer I have is Faraday's law of induction. We're now ready for Farmington's physics question to try to earn points for their team. 2 charged particles are projected into a region where there is a magnetic field perpendicular to their velocities. If the particles are deflected in opposite directions, what can you say about them?
They are like charge.
No.
Opposite charge.
Yes. 2 points. 3 points for Farmington. Shiloh Christian, here is your physics question. What type of spectrum is used to identify elements in the atmosphere of stars?
Absorption spectrum.
That is correct. 4 points. World history textbook. Gravette, here is your question. Who was the Russian prince who, in 1480, had made his state independent from control by the Mongols.
Ivan the Terrible.
No.
Ivan the Great.
No. For the steel, Farmington.
Alexander Nevsky.
No. For the steel, Shiloh, quickly.
Peter.
Okay. So the answer I have is specific. It says Ivan the Third. If you can tell me that Ivan the Third was either the Great or the Terrible, that could be a good challenge. Farmington, here is your world history question. Where did the Dutch establish a fort in 1619 to help them control the spice trade in Southeast Asia?
Macau.
That's not what I have.
Moluccas.
No.
Java.
No.
Guangzhou.
No. For the steel, Shiloh Christian?
Cuba.
No. Gravette, quickly.
Calcutta.
No, what I have here is Batavia. Does that make sense? No points. Moving on. World history question. For Shiloh Christian. What was the name of the Russian National Assembly who chose Michael Romanov to be the first Tsar in the Romanov dynasty? Time has elapsed. Farmington?
Zemsky Sobar.
That is correct. 1 point steal, Farmington. Zemsky Sobar. All right. We finished all the questions in the match that are, well, so we're here ready for the team choice. It's a 17th option, 17 question of the match. Grab it. From the 6 categories in the second half, you chose chemistry. Farmington, you chose world history. And Shiloh Christian, you chose math. The current score, since this is a time where the scores could drastically change and impact the final score, we'll read the current score is Shiloh with 25 points, Gravette with 27, and a real strong second half, Farmington has 41. All right. So in your toss-up question, you only get 1 shot to earn 4 points, and the steal is worth 2. So we'll start with Gravette. Your chemistry question. Give the name of the compound using the standard nomenclature rules for coordinating complexes. And then I'm going to have to read this awkwardly, I guess. So you might want to write this down. PT, open parentheses, H2O, close parentheses, 4. Open parentheses, C2, O4, close parentheses, BR2. Time has run out, and no one's buzzing in, so we'll call that time has elapsed. Tetra aqua plutonium bromide. That was a hard question here in the finals. All right, so Farmington, you chose world history. Here is your toss-up question. You get 1 chance to answer. In order to force political leaders to do what the popes wanted them to do, to do what the popes wanted them to do, the pope sometimes ordered that all the citizens of the leader's territory not be allowed to partake in the church sacraments. This practice is called what?
Indictment.
Yes, 4 points. No. No, try again. So, Shiloh Christian.
Excommunication.
No. Gravette.
Lay investor.
No. Here's the mistake I made. It's interdict. I-N-T-E-R-D-I-C-T. No points. So you got some of the syllables right, and I didn't listen carefully enough. Sorry for that wrong cue. All right, Shiloh Christian, you chose math. Would everyone open up the white envelope? Pass the 5 strips around. You have 60 seconds to earn 4 points, Shiloh Christian. Here is the question. Find the radian measure of 65 degrees. Give your answer in terms of pi.
Pi.
No. For the steel, I think it was Gravette. Where are we? Farmington.
13 pi over 36.
Yes. 2 points, steel, Farmington. All right. We're now ready for the final question of the match. It's a toss-up question. Have your buzzer in hand. Only one team can score 4 points. From the 3 remaining categories that were not selected, the toss-up question will come from art history. Here we go. Anyone? You may buzz in if you think you want to take a chance on coming in early. You don't have to wait till I finish the question. Who is the architect who was commissioned to design an addition to the Louvre in Paris? Based on a pyramid shape, he designed a building that was first viewed with dismay and criticism. However, the French have now grown to appreciate the structure of this famous design. Name the architect. Farmington?
Pay.
That is correct. I am Pay. 4 points, Farmington, for the final question of the match. Good job. All right, we're at the end of this first semifinal match. The winner of this game will go on to play in the championship game, which is the 3rd game of today. The final score, the screen has it correct for those here in the audience. For those at home or listening on the radio, Shiloh Christian ended the game with 25 points. Gravette ended the game with 27. And with a really strong second half, Farmington went to 46 points, not 47, 46 points. All right, thank you very much. At this time, we'll take any challenges to the match. We'll take I'd say 15 or 20-minute break from the radio audience as we get ready for semifinal game 2. So players stay up here until we find out if there's any challenges. We'll see you in a little bit. Thank you. The screen hit.
Hello, Cardinal fans. I'm Jared Morrison. I'm joined here by Vice Principal, ACE sponsor, Clayton Williams. Mr. Williams, thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you.
First of all,